Hello everybody, my name is Asif Mahmood and I am from Jeju National University, and my final term project is like overlay networking between virtual machines using a virtual switch in a hypervisor based environment. Simply we can say I have deployed 4 VMs on OpenStack environment which is integrated with ONOS environment. So you can look at the architecture of OpenStack, that how does it work. It has a controller node, it has several agents, L3, Linux, Bridge agent, DHCP agent, and two networks interfaces. One is public and one is private, and the VXLAN tunnels are created on the private network. So in which we can see here it is red one, and here it is compute node. There is a Linux Bridge agent running on it. So this is managed by ONOS, and it is responsible to create the bridges between the virtual machines, and gives a path in the form of a tunnel which we call VXLANs, and or any kind of overlay network. So after that, going back to my presentation, I would like to tell that from this figure I have proposed my architecture for this demo, that I have OpenStack and ONOS integrated, and OpenStack contains of Keystone, Glance, Horizon, RabbitMQ, MySQL, Neutron, Nova, and it has two networks as earlier mentioned. Provider is the public network interface ETH0, and ETH1 is the other interface used for creating VXLAN tunnels, which is called self-service bridge in OpenStack language. So this is my compute node. I have two interfaces, ETH0, ETH1. ETH0 is for public connectivity and ETH1 is for private networks. Here we can see I have created 4 VMs which are on the private network, and 2 of them are on the same bridge, which means this is a separate network and these VMs are on a separate network. So this way, OpenStack and ONOS, we create virtual machines and we create the VXLAN tunnels between these interfaces in the form of bridges and tabs that are connected to the VMs. So next I will go to my compute node to only just to mention that does it have any already bridge installed or not. No bridge installed, right, because we haven't created any virtual machine. So looking into the settings, here I can see that this is the management network and this is the provider network, so we don't have any VXLAN here. So this is my compute node, you can see. So I'm going back to my control node and going towards the OpenStack GUI. Here you can see we type the IP or the host name, Horizon, auth, login, and I have created a tenant user which is my user, and I'm putting my credentials first. Yes, so I have successfully logged in. So here we can see that I have no instances. First I will create 2 networks. Private 1, next as private 1, network address would be this. So created successfully, I guess, I hope so. It's really fast. Similar fashion I would create another private network 2 as private subnet having IP ranges of this 12.0 IPv4, and next, and enable DHCP, yeah, in the its default. So here we can see I have created 2 subnets. One is 11.0 and second is 12.0. So network address will be comprising of 24 bits, which are 26, 26, 26, 11. Okay, and here we can see. So as the networks have been created, now I will go to compute node and create instances on each of the networks, 2 on this and 2 on the second network. So let's see how we can create instances. Launch instance. Instance name can be A. After that I will create 2 instances. So source, I will choose zeros because it is lightweight. I will create a lot of flavors, so I will create 64 MB RAM, 1 GB, and create it here. And I will select the private one instance, private one network. So let these be. I have updated security groups some, and key pair is the used for SSH. So here I will create it. So here we can see that it's in scheduling state, task, networking, log device mapping. It's under build status. So after some time it will be running. Yeah, here we can see it's running. Let's wait for the second one. So here we can see both of the instances are running. So I would just go into one VM, not in the second one, because it's the same thing. I can go into logs console in order to log in. I will create it in new tab and Tor. So yeah, here I can see the VM. The default password is shown here. It's logged in successfully. I would show you the IP assigned to it. It is the private network, so it doesn't matter. 11.11, and I can ping it. Yeah, it's working interface. I can check the other VMs. I can check the other VM's IP. It is 24, so I would just try to ping it from here because they're on the same network, so it should be able to ping. Yes. So now I will go to private network 2. I will create new instances on the private network 2. BB 2 instances. Next, source is zeros, flavor is the same one, network is a different. This time I will choose private 2, same specs, and launch. So these instances will be launched again after some time. So here you can see, so now here we can see that 2 VMs have been spun off on the second private network. I would like login on one of these, which is 12.5. So let's go into the shell. It is opening up here, so we can confirm its IP again, BB2 12.5. So here in this VM I would try to ping 12.5 and it won't be able to ping the other IP. Here it's clear, we can't ping it as this VM. Let me confirm you the IP address. Yeah, it's 12.5. This VM can't ping it because we can go into the network topology here that there are two networks, but these aren't connected. So for that purpose we need a router. I'm going to create a router. I've created a router successfully. I'm going to attach two interfaces, one for the private network, one that will be the gateway of private network 1.1.1 IP, and add another interface for private 2 that would be 12.1, obviously because the default gateway ends with 0.1 if we don't assign. So here we can see the network topology that we have a router connected and active and two interfaces, and these are the instances we can see here, phase 1 and 2 for the private network. So right now I would like to tell you that it has started pinging 12.5 from the private network 1 to the private network 2 VM. So this is all because it has created VXLAN tunnels. So right now I'm going to verify that whether the VXLAN tunnels have been created from the command line or the GUI of the Ubuntu. Let's go to the compute node. This is my, we can see that this is my compute node, and we can verify from the Ubuntu GUI that VXLAN 80 and VXLAN 26 have been created in order to link both of the VMs to each other through these VXLAN play an important role to connect to each other on a different network through a router interface. So let's see Beers show. So this is the bridge that I was explaining in the first diagram, that it has been created and it has two tabs, means it has two VMs connected to it, and the VXLAN tunnel ID is 80. So this is for the second private network, one bridge for the first network, one bridge for the second network, and each of them have two tab interfaces which are for each of the VM, and this is the VXLAN tunnel ID. In this case it's 26. So this was my tutorial. Again, I'm very thankful for you people to watch this video, and if there are any questions you can ask in the comment section. I would be very glad to answer your questions. Thank you very much.